Hello, Kim. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, I guess. It's almost the end of the school year, so I'm happy I don't have to worry about the teachers calling on me or making presentations.
That's good. I know how difficult class has been for you this year.
Yeah, but I've been getting better at self-regulating, especially during the first stage of my anxiety, so those interventions that we planned out during the middle of the school year worked out great.
I'm glad to hear that. During our last session, we worked on some breathing exercises. Have you been able to use those to help you in classes?
I mean, sort of. They only help me to an extent, but if I'm already in panic mode, then it's pretty much pointless.
Would you like to name some situations in the past week where they have not been that helpful?
Well, one of the instances was when my English teacher had us get into small groups and act out a scene from a play. We only had 20 minutes to prepare, and somehow I drew the short straw and had the most lines to read. I tried to ask my group members if they wanted to switch, but they said no, so my anxiety was really bad, and the stupid teacher didn't let me go outside to take a breather.
That must have been very stressful. Thank you for sharing that with me. If you are okay with it, I can talk to your teacher to see if we can come up with a plan to allow you to take a step outside to breathe and calm yourself down. So before we begin this session, is there anything else you'd like to share with me?
Yeah, I'd appreciate if you could talk to the teachers, or at least maybe the high school counselor, since I know you only work with middle schoolers because of the way our school works being a charter school and all, and how they set up with you only working in middle school, and there'll be school counselors for the high school.
Okay, so now for this session, I would like to reflect on all the work we've done this school year, as this is our last session since you'll be beginning high school in the fall.
Where do you want me to begin?
Let's start thinking back to the beginning of the school year. Are there any areas regarding your social anxiety that you've noticed significant improvement between then and now?
Well, back when my parents first referred me to you with my teacher's backing, they mentioned how closed off I was and always became extremely nervous when I came to anything related to talking in front of the class. And now I'm not as nervous to ask questions or even dread when my name is being called. My goals/challenges that we created that have been incredibly helpful by pushing me out of my comfort zone. So now I'm used to saying a few sentences to my classmates, even the ones I'm not too close with.
I'm really happy to hear about the changes you've made. I've also noticed that you've started opening up a little more in our last few sessions.
Yeah, we went from communicating with journals to openly talking about my problems. It's kind of nice to verbally explain what's bothering me rather than writing it out. I save my pen ink that way, but the journal idea was really nice and thoughtful on your part, so thank you.
It's been my pleasure. So the journals you wrote during our first couple of sessions helped you work on being more open with me and others?
Oh, definitely, especially when random classmates, now my friends, came up to me and talked to me first. I always resorted to verbally saying one sentence to them, but then one day they saw my journal on my desk and asked what it was for. After doing some breathing exercises, I called myself enough to explain what I use it for, and then they were understanding with me communicating with it. But I got a bit tiring after our fifth session, so I decided to push myself and verbally communicate. It helped me get out of my comfort zone and practice speaking.
I'm happy to hear that you've made some supportive friends. They can be really good resources in class when you get stressed or anxious. It was also really helpful to be aware of when one technique works and also when it stops working. It's good to know what works for you. It seems like talking to others has also been really helpful for you.
Oh, it has been a huge help for me. Like, I honestly feel like I wouldn't be talking this openly to you right now if it weren't for my friends. My worry is that once I get my schedule for high school, they won't be in any of my classes nor have the same lunch as me. So I'm scared that I'd be back to square one and I can't come to see you when I need to, since I'm not really allowed in the lower level of the school once I'm a high school student, unless you call for me, but I know you won't do that since I made amazing progress throughout the school year.
I'm really happy those worked for you. I know they can be a really good support system for you as you transition to high school. What you've been able to work on can also help you to meet new people in your classes next year. I know the social worker at your high school, and I know she'll be able to help you really well.
I've been trying to initiate the conversation first with people outside my classes. Like 2 weeks ago, I saw a student that had really nice shoes, and instead of me ignoring the urge to say something, I decided to finally compliment someone. Of course, after doing my breathing exercises, since I felt the urge to mess with my jacket and play with my backpack straps at the thought of talking to someone first rather than them approaching me first.
That's a really positive change. I know you will be able to continue this next year. Are there any other concerns you have about starting high school?
I mean, kinda, but it's hard to explain.
Please elaborate.
Well, I'm worried that my high school teachers won't be as understanding as my middle school teachers since you've been advocating for me and whatnot. We also have a good relationship, and I don't have that yet with the high school counselor, so she can't really do anything for me, especially when it comes to my teachers once ninth grade begins. I just feel like I'm going to revert back to how I was when I first started my session with you.
I do remember that you were not as comfortable opening up to me when we started working together last year. That's a normal feeling. It takes a while to feel comfortable talking to strangers. What I do know is that she only wants to help you like I do. It may take a while, but I believe you'll feel as comfortable talking to her as you do talking to me now.
And what if I don't feel comfortable? Can I just come see you or something since I trust you? I don't want to make a new relationship with someone since it could possibly change in the future, you know?
I'm really happy that you trust me and feel comfortable talking to me. Unfortunately, you will no longer be a student here, so I will no longer be able to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, I know. It just freaking sucks since so much is changing already. I have to meet new people, get to know my ninth grade teachers, and see a new school counselor. That's honestly a lot for me, and I'm not sure if I can handle doing all three in one school year.
That's very understandable. Starting high school can be a very scary experience. You'll be meeting new people and a new school. I've seen so many positive changes in you this year. When we started working together, you found it very difficult to open up and share with me, but you started taking initiative and began incrementally talking to others in your class, answering questions in class, and speaking up to your teachers. I gave you tools and techniques, but you were the one that decided to work on your social anxiety issues. I know this may feel like starting at square one, but you already have the foundation. You've put in a lot of work that I know you will be able to continue next year.
I'm glad that you understand me, and when you remind me of my tiniest successes, I guess it's not so bad, especially with the tools and techniques that I've been using and knowing what works. It shouldn't be too hard to repeat those results. Plus, the more I think about it in a calm mindset, it's not like I won't be able to see my friends since we do hang out outside of school, and that is one thing that was a major challenge for me since I don't like the idea of being out in the public where people could stare at me. If I can get over being in the public eye, then I can get used to meeting new people and getting to know the teachers that I'd be seeing every day. You know, I'm glad that we're having this last talk, and I'm gonna miss you seeing every other week.
I'm glad we had this talk too. I've enjoyed working with you as well. I'm happy to see you acknowledge the improvements you have made and that you appear to want to continue them in high school.
Well, I will certainly do my best to keep up with it.
That's good to hear. I know that you have to go back to class in a couple of minutes. We have gone over a lot over this session, including how you were feeling nervous about beginning high school, but you also feel ready to start, and how you are worried that you may not have a positive relationship with your new school's social worker. Are there any last things you want to discuss before I send you back to class?
Nah, I think I'm good. I was able to verbally say what was bothering me, so I feel a lot better now and not as anxious.
I'm happy that I was able to help you work through your concerns. So this is the end of our last session. I wanted to congratulate you on all the progress you have made. I have enjoyed working with you, and I hope you enjoy your experience as you start high school.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Have a good rest of your day.